Great to be here with you. Let's go ahead and begin by just doing some dynamic forward folding. So with our feet, outer edges, feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, you can just go down with your hands on your legs, or you can go down to your elbows, or you can go all the way over. If you tend to get lightheaded, come up slowly, make sure you keep breathing or just don't fold down so much. And if you want to, you can let your head rest down at the bottom as well, whatever your bottom is. And then press down through your feet to come back up. And let's do that a few more times, just at your own pace. Start to tune into your breath, tune into your body. Maybe you start feeling that you are tense in one area or another area, or you're relaxed in one area or another area. That's always a nice discovery. All right, walk your legs all the way together. And then with your legs all the way together and tilting your pelvis upright into neutral, we'll extend the right leg long, but they're kind of going in since your legs are together. And bend and extend the left leg long and bend. And we'll do two, right leg and left leg. Keep tilting the pelvis upright. And then walk your feet open to hip distance apart and extend right leg and bend, left leg and bend. One more time each leg. Try to extend all the way. Keep working on the tilt of the pelvis. Walk your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Extend right leg slightly out. Bend, ankle right under the knee, left leg. And one more time each. And the more that pelvis stays upright, the more you'll feel your deeper core muscles firing. And then walk your feet a little bit wider, and we'll do right leg out and left leg. And it might be a little bit harder to keep the pelvis upright here. One more time for each leg. If you get any cracking or popping, then maybe don't go so wide. And then let's just go ahead and extend our legs nice and wide out to the sides and circle our arms up and down here. Tuning into your breath, reaching out through your chest and upper back muscles. It is really, really nice to be here. My life, as you know, is a little bit more chaotic with traveling around. And as thankful as I am for that, I'm also thankful when I have a steady schedule. And it's nice to go back to what I'm familiar with at times, even though change is also good. All right, next time your arms go out to the sides, turn your palms face down, mid-chest height, and we're gonna do flexion of our wrists, turning them down, and extension, turning them up, but we're gonna hold as we do neck movements. So flex your wrists, hold, turn and look over your right shoulder. Breathing, turn and look over your left shoulder. Come back to center and extend your wrist as you reach out, turn and look over your right shoulder. And turn and look over your left shoulder. And then bringing your head back to center. Now's a good time to rest your arms for a moment. Otherwise, just flip your wrist down and tip right ear to right shoulder. And slowly bring your head up and tip left ear to left shoulder. And then head comes back up and extend your wrist as you reach out, and right ear goes over to right shoulder. And left ear over to left shoulder. And bring your head up, and how about spreading the thumbs out away from your other fingers a little bit and relaxing your arms down. Okay, we're gonna do the same bend and extend that we did out. We're gonna go back in, but we're gonna do something a little different. You wanna really try to scoot up to the front edge of your chair so you can rest your hands on the chair right behind you, kind of holding up with your arms. And this way, it keeps the front of the hip a little bit more open when we extend, rather than being in an upright neutral pelvis. So bend wide with your right leg, extend wide. Bend wide with your left leg, extend wide. Let's do one more each like that. And then slide your feet in just a little bit. Bend, extend, bend, and extend. One more each side. And slide your legs into hip distance as we bend and extend. And then slide your feet all the way together and bend and extend. And then for there, depending on how your hands are feeling, just lean your torso back a little bit more. Slide your feet back open, or if you need to step them open because you're on carpet, step them open. And then slide or step your feet back in. And then go ahead and bend your knees into hip distance apart and bring your torso back up. So if it felt like a lot of work to lean on your hands, a lot more finger stretches, forearm, wrist stretches, really helpful. And if you do them without loading your wrists, so without loading is like things like this in the air, then when you actually put weight on your hands and your wrists over time, it will actually feel a lot better. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and do our first hamstring stretch, and we're kind of building from last week. I think last week I did the second highest height. You can do any height you'd like to, but this week, if you're open to it, let's do the highest height. So put the block in front of your right foot and extend your right leg long onto the block, heel down, toes in the air. And then we're just gonna sit up nice and tall here with our leg extended. So watch the pelvis sinking back and keep tilting your pelvis upright. And then we'll go side to side with dynamic side bends. Open up through the palms of the hands, through the fingers. Feel the sides of the waist, the sides of the rib cage. And many of you have been doing these classes for a while, so I hope that when you just come to these positions that your body is just like, yes, because it should hopefully feel better and better over time. And your body just starts to tell you like, I like this movement. It doesn't have to be intense, but it does have to be pretty consistent. All right, and then we're gonna relax down. You're gonna rotate your thigh bone out to the right as you hinge forward any amount. Try to feel weight on both of your hips. And then rotate your thigh bone in and hinging forward there. Keep flexing the ankle gently. All right, and come back up and switch legs. So put the block underneath your left foot. First, we're just gonna work to sit up tall here with our one leg extended. And then from here, we're going to do twist. So we'll reach our arms out to the side, palms up. You can always relax your arms. Turn your belly button and your rib cage to the right, and turn your belly button and your rib cage to the left. Breathing here, relaxing any clenching lower belly muscles, but yet keep tilting the pelvis upright. And let's do 2 more each side. Rotating the palms of your hands to face more up. All right, come back to center, rotate that left thigh bone out and fold forward any amount here. rotate your thigh bone in and hold there. Try to straighten the leg all the way. Keep rotating forward from the top front of the pelvis. Try to feel like that area is going forward. And then come on back up and bend that knee, and let's spin around into our first lunge. So spin around to your right, slide your knee back right underneath your hip, ankle right behind the knee. And then from here, we're gonna do 3 rotations. We're gonna do palm facing behind us, palm facing our body, and palm facing forward. So that changes the rotation of your arm bone. So start with palm facing behind you and sweep your arm back and go forward and up into the air without pushing the ribs forward, and pull straight back and forward and up. Down and back, forward and up, and down and back, and forward and up. Okay, next time you go down to your side, turn the palm of your hand to face your body and pull back and forward and up, leading with the thumb. Down and back and forward and up. And a couple more times like that at your own pace. I'll tell you when we're gonna switch the rotation. Steady feet here. All right, no rush in getting there. Next time your arms by your side, turn the palm of your hand forward and we'll pull back and go forward and up. All right, next time your arm will go up, that'll be the last time. Relax it down, slide your knee forward, spin around to the other side. Slide your knee back as much under your hip as you can. Line up your ankle right behind your knee, and then we'll start with the palm of our hand facing behind us as we swing back and forward and up. Steady feet on the floor, feel more of your toes touching, more of the part of your foot that's touching the floor. And then next time your arm goes by your side, turn your palm to face your body and pull back and forward and up. And then we'll pause and we'll turn our palm and our elbow pit forward. Ribs relax down and back as we go through the full shoulder range of motion for this arm swing. All right, next time you go up in the air, that'll be the last time. Then relax your arm down and slide your foot forward, spin back around to the front of the chair, and then we're gonna go to hamstring stretch number 2, which is block on the highest height out to the right. Extend your leg out there onto the block, and then from here, try to tilt your pelvis as upright as it will comfortably go. Interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom, so more stretches like this if your wrists were bothering you. Press away, spread your thumbs away from each other and back towards you, and then slowly go up into the air, and then bring your hands behind your head. Now you can use your hands to feel your ribs drop down, but slide your head back into your hands, so it helps you ramp your head back. And then let's side bend to the right, and come up, and side bend to the left, and come up. And let's do one more each side. Side bend to the right, and up, side bend to the left, and up. And then bring your hands out, press up, bring your hands back down, switch the crossing. So if this time you had the right pinky finger on the bottom, you switch to the left pinky finger, press away, keep gently spreading the thumbs, try to get a nice even interlace, And then take your arms up and bring your hands behind your head. Think front ribs down, but head slides back. And keep ramping your head back as you twist to the right and twist your belly button to the left. Head slides back into the hands as you twist to the right and twist over to the left. And then come back to center. Press up through your hands, lower the hands down, rotate your right thigh bone out and hinge forward any amount here. And then rotate your thigh bone the other direction. And breathing here. And then come on up. All right, step that leg in. We're not going to put the foot out yet. You're just going to slide the block over to the left side, but we're going to do something in between. So remember when we started with our legs wide, we were circling our arms up and down like this. We're going to do that from a slight forward fold. So hinge forward with a flat back and take your arms up towards your ears and back down by your sides. If you get any cracking or popping, the first thing to do is to curl your ribs up just a little bit if you tend to thrust, and see if that helps. And if not, just go a little bit slower through the range of motion. One more like this. All right, and then come on up and now extend your left foot out onto the block. And you really feel free to play with what range of motion you want to work in. Tilt your pelvis upright. Interlace right pinky finger on the bottom. Press away, fingers spread apart. Bring them in. Gently spread the thumbs back towards you. And then we'll go up and overhead and bring our hands behind our head. Front ribs drop down, but head slides back. And we'll side bend to the left and side bend over to the right. And side bend to the left. And side bend over to the right. And come back to center and press up. Bring our hands back down. Switch the crossing of the fingers. Press away. Don't forget about those thumbs, nice and gently. They need it if you tend to scroll on your cell phone. And then arms go up into the air. Bring the hands behind the head. Think ribs down, head slides back. Twist your belly button to the left and twist to the right. And twist to the left and twist to the right. Twist to the left, head sliding back, twist to the right, and come back to center, and press your hands up and lower them back down, and then rotate your thigh bone out to the left and hinge forward here. Breathing. And you can really play with like a little bit of rotation to more rotation if your thigh bone has it, but each angle really hits differently. It's very fun to explore. And then rotate your thigh bone in. Try to straighten the leg all the way. Relax any excessive clenching around your buttocks and the tops of your thigh muscles. Breathing here. All right, and come back up and slide that foot in. So we're going to come back to that block in just a moment, but we're going to sit up tall. And we did this arm movement already. We're going to do palms and elbow pits forward, where your arms went back and they swept forward and up, and we're going to do that from a half forward fold. So arms come down, hinge forward a little bit from your hips. Neck is nice and long, so after you initially see and look forward, drop your chin down a little, arms pull back. And sweep forward and up. And arms pull back. And sweep forward and up. Arms pull back. And sweep forward and up. And arms pull back. And sweep forward and up. Hold for a moment. Open up gently through the palms of your hands and fingers. And then push into your feet to come up. You can either use a block in between your feet and put your right foot up, knee dropping open. If you're gonna use the block, you're gonna want to try to see if you can rest it like a little bit. Let's see here. You'll see when we're gonna do this eventually with ankle circles, you might have to slightly move the block so that you can move your ankle around a little bit better. I have mine kind of positioned on the edge of the block, but you can also just cross your ankle right on top of your knee. First, just try to sit up nice and tall wherever you are. Let that right thigh drop open, and then bring your palms face up together and open your arms out to the sides and bring your pinky fingers in. And every time you open, you can do a little bit of a different height if you'd like to. Sometimes a little lower, sometimes more mid-chest. So you can play with feeling different pulls on different areas of your upper back and chest muscles. And if you find a particular range of motion where you're just feeling like it's getting into an area where you need more movement, then do a few there. All right, and then pause and circle your ankle around and try to do a full, slow circle. And then pause and circle in the other direction. And then hold your ankle in flexion and fold forward any amount. Notice if your bottom knee is dropping in, pull it open a little bit so it's in line with your hip. And becoming present with your breath here. All right, come on back up and switch sides. So again, just positioning your foot on the block, adjusting as necessary, or ankle over the knee. Try to tilt your pelvis upright a little more. Arms go out to the sides and pinky fingers together and open up. And play with slightly different heights. All right, let's pause and circle our ankle around. Try to do a full, slow circle. And then pause and circle in the other direction. Rest, arms can always rest when they need a rest. And then just flexing your ankle or dorsiflexion and hinge forward from your hips. Try to feel some weight on both of your hips. Notice that bottom knee, if it collapses in, pull it open or line it up with your hip. All right, and come on up. So block on the highest height with your ankles hip distance apart, right in front of your left foot, and reach your right leg across. And if you have to adjust, adjust. Try to sit up nice and tall here with your leg reaching across. And then we'll start with the right arm going up, and we'll tap our shoulder and hug our elbow in a little and extend. Tap, hug in a little and extend. Tap, hug in a little and extend. Tap, hug in a little. And then if you'd like to, you can just hold right there. You can use your other hand and pull back gently. Side bend up and over to the left and come back up. Side bending to the left and back up. Side bending to the left and back up. And side bending to the left and back up, tilting your pelvis upright, twist to the left and back to center. Twist to the left back to center. 2 more like that. Twist to the left, back to center, and twist to the left, and back to center. Release your arms, rotate your thigh bone to the right, and fold forward a little bit here. Letting your breath flow. And then rotating your thigh bone in the other direction. And come on up and switch with ankles hip distance apart. Put the block on the highest height in front of your right foot. Reach your left leg across, tilt your pelvis upright, and we'll do the left arm in the air. Tap, if your elbow pops out a lot, hug it in and extend. Think ribs down, ears slide back over the shoulders. Tap, extend, tap, and extend. Oops, tap, hug in, and extend. Let's do one more, forgot about that part. Tap, hug in, extend, and then tap and maybe pull back and hug your elbow in a little, and we'll do side bends to the right and back up. One more side bend. And then we'll twist to the right and unwind. And then release your arms, rotate your thigh bone to the left, and hinge forward here. And then rotate your thigh bone the other way and hinge forward here. Rotating from the pelvis over the thigh bones. All right, and come on back up. Slide the block out of the way. So we were doing this arm motion out to the side and in. We're gonna do it with the hands, palms face each other. Palms clap and open out to the side. And we're gonna do it from a half forward fold. So ground your feet, rotate forward from your pelvis, watch thighs collapsing in or out, steady, and then clap and open out to the sides. Front ribs slightly up if you tend to thrust, clap, and reach out. Clap and reach out and clap and reach out and hold for a moment and breathing here. And the sides of the neck are long, and then push down through your feet to come up, and let's spin around for another lunge. So spin around to your right. You can either just stay in the lunge or you can add the quad stretch to it. So wrapping the strap around your ankle, sliding back, lifting your foot any amount off the floor as that knee continuously slides back. Find an angle that feels good for you today. Pelvis and ribs and head are stacked. Keep drawing that popping the thigh bone that likes to go forward. Keep sliding it back. And then from here, let's turn and look over our right shoulder and turn and look over the left shoulder. Bring the head back to center. Tip your right ear over to your right shoulder. And then slowly tip your left ear over to your left shoulder. And then bring your head back up and release your foot, and let's spin around to the other side. So sliding the knee back, lassoing your strap around your ankle, knee goes back under the hips, square your hips the direction you're facing, lift your foot any amount, or you can just keep your foot on the floor. And from here, turn and look over your right shoulder, and turn and look over your left shoulder. Bring your head back to center, tip your right ear over to your right shoulder, and tip your left ear over to your left shoulder. Just letting gravity work its magic on the front of that thigh and hip. And then bring your head up and release your foot. And you can place that strap back out of the way and spin back around to the front of the chair. And then let's go ahead and start with our feet all the way together. Try to keep your pelvis as upright as possible, and we're going to march. So the more that your pelvis is upright rather than tilting back, the more you'll help those deeper core muscles fire. And walk your feet about hip distance apart. Pelvis tilts upright, and we lift and lower. And then we do one more on each leg, and walk your feet a step wider, pelvis upright, lift and lower. Try to lean the torso to one side less if it's really leaning over. And then walk your feet one wider and lift and lower. Lift and lower, pelvis upright, lift and lower, and lift and lower. Okay, let's reach our right arm across, turn your palm down, pull out on your upper arm to traction your shoulder, and then flex your wrist as you pull across. Inner thighs open, pelvis tilts upright. Breath is flowing. And then extend your wrist, spread your thumb out to the side as you pull across. Keep pulling the top of the hand back. All right, switch arms. Left arm goes across, palm face down, pull out on the upper arm and flex your wrist as you pull across. Breath is flowing. And then extend the wrist, thumb spreads out to the side as you pull across. All right, release that arm and we'll heels up to toes up. Walk in a little bit, toes up to heels up. Either one is fine as first. Walk in a little bit, heels up to toes up. Walk in a little bit more and heels up to toes up, and your legs are about hip distance apart. Let your arms hang by your side, pelvis upright, ribs relax down and back, ears slide back over the shoulders, and then with your elbow pits, the soft front part of your elbow facing forward, thumbs or hands forward, let's lift our shoulders up and slowly relax them down. And if you get any cracking or popping, check your alignment of your rib cage and your neck first. Otherwise, just go nice and slow, slowly lift up and slowly relax down. Try not to rush the down part. Slowly lift up and slowly relax down and slowly lift up and slowly relax down. Now, a lot of times, reach your arms into the air. A lot of times we're, saying you don't have to overlift your inner shoulders, but sometimes what if you need to reach for something that's really high? So with your arms in the air, reach all the way up. Try to keep front ribs relaxed down, head sliding back, and then just let your shoulders relax down a little bit. And reach all the way up. You're reaching for that thing that's super high. And slowly relax down. And reach all the way up. Really stretching those nice sides of the body. And relax down. And reach all the way up. I felt like Bob Ross in that moment, how he paints like happy clouds. I'm saying, the nice sides of the body. All right, and relax all the way down. Good, and relax your arms. And then from here with your ankles hip distance apart, knees right under hips, lean forward, push down, back your hips up to come up to stand, and come around to the back of your chair. From the back of your chair, we'll walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Start with the outer edges of your feet straight as you back your hips up, relax your lower belly so your tailbone can tilt up into the air naturally. Breathing here. All right, how about spinning your feet feet out to the sides a little bit. You can check, do you tend to roll to your inner or outer ankle, and you can center that ankle bone? And then how about spinning your feet in so they're a little bit pigeon-toed, and backing your hips up here, relax the lower belly. Try to straighten the legs all the way. Try to relax any clenching around the front of the thighs, around the front of the hips. Good, and then turn your feet back to straight and come on back up to the chair. And then from here, let's face sideways at your chair. So you're facing sideways, feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. You can rest one hand on the chair and take your other arm out and up. And let's do that a few more times. All right, pull yourself in. You can be as close or as far away from the chair as you'd like to. Press down through the leg closest to the chair. If it likes to pop out, hug it in, and we'll lift the leg out to the side and lower down. You can tap your toes down every time, or you can keep your leg hovering. All right, put that foot down. Walk away from the chair a little bit, bend over towards the chair as your top arm goes into the air, and then go nice and slow for the first one and curl underneath your waist and open up and curl under and open up and curl under and open up and curl under and open up and pull yourself up, and then switch sides. So you can turn around or just spin your chair around, and we'll start with outer edges of the feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, and take the top arm up and over and back down. And the last one we'll hold for an extra second or two, breathing and feeling. And then push down through your inside hip closest to the chair. If it tends to pop out, hug it in, and we'll lift. And you can tap your foot down or keep it hovering. And then walk away from the chair a little bit, bend over a little, reach your top arm in the air, go slow for the first one, curl under, and twist open. And then pull that arm down. Okay, grab whatever you're using for a calf stretch, a thin block, a rolled up towel, a rolled up yoga mat work great. And it's good to vary. Put the ball of your right foot up and your heel down on the floor. And then you can sometimes walk your foot up a little less, walk your foot up a little bit more, just with heel down. Push down through that right hip and try to smoothly step your left foot forward and back, without bending the right knee, and ideally without bending the left knee very much too, because you're pushing down so much through the right hip that your left leg just floats forward and back. All right, you can keep your left foot a little forward or a little back, and let's sit back into a chair pose. Watch thighs collapsing in or out. Try to center them and press up. And in this instance, it's okay if your knee goes past your ankle, as long as it's feeling totally okay all around your ankle. And one more like that. All right, and let's switch sides. So put the ball of your opposite foot up, your heel down, push down through that hip as you smoothly swing your right leg forward and back. All right, you can keep your foot a little forward, a little back. Sit back, keeping knees hip distance apart, and press up. Squatting down a bit and pressing up. All right, slide that out of the way. Walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs, back your hips up. Outer edges of feet closer to straight. Bend your elbows to the floor a little. Hug them in if they pop out. And press them straight back. And bend down a bit. And press back. We'll do 2 more like that. Bend down a bit. And press back. And bend down a bit. And press back. And then come on up to stand. Walk up to your chair. Turn your feet slightly out to the side, and we'll do heel raises here. And 2 main things to pay attention to. One is as you lift and lower, do your ankles tend to twist a little to one side. The more you press equally through the entire ball of your foot, especially this inside part, the less the ankles will twist to one side or the other. So you might just focus on that for a while, but also when we lift and lower, we tend to pitch ourselves forward. So using a wall or a chair is very helpful, and try to go more straight up and down. And when you actually get the more straight up and down part, you'll feel significantly more work in the back of your legs. But sometimes you have to do the pitching forward for a while to even build the amount of strength that you need to be able to go straight up and down. But you will feel the difference when it happens. All right, we're gonna do some double calf stretches too, along with these calf raises. And so if you have a longer rolled up towel or 2 blocks or an extra rolled up yoga mat, that would be great. I'm gonna grab another dome that I have. And then you're just gonna put it in front of the back of your chair. And just like we did our calf raises with our feet turned out, we're gonna turn our feet out to the side and push our hips back. And you can go just to hands to the chair. You can bring forearms to the chair. You can walk your hands down to the front of the chair. 2 straight legs, backing up your hips. Breathing here. If you'd like to do a little shift side to side, you can play with that. All right, come back up. Scoot whatever you're using just out of the way. And then now we're gonna pigeon toe our feet and lift and lower there. Same thing, pressing very equally through the balls of the feet and trying to go more straight up and down. And I always know when I get it because all of a sudden it's harder to get my heels up off the ground. And for me, I notice one side unnecessarily clenches more than the other side as I'm lifting up. So I'm trying to relax the side that's clenching. Which means for me going a little slower and not as high because I'm trying to break that clenching pattern on the one side. All right. right, let's do a double calf stretch with our feet slightly turned in. And backing your thigh bones up, hands to the chair or forearms or hands down to the seat of the chair. Maybe a little shift side to side with your hips, pausing at different angles. And come back up, and last but not least, outer edges of our feet straight. Press very equally through the balls of the foot, and try to go straight up instead of pitching forward. And it's not just your upper body, but you can pitch your hips forward, so be conscious of doing that as well. All right, and let's do a calf stretch with the outer edges of our feet straight, a double calf stretch, folding forward any amount today. Maybe a hip shift side to side. Relaxing excessive clenching. All right, come on up. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, and we'll do our quad march. In the last couple of weeks, we've been working on the quad march with the pelvic list. So we'll do that again today. Next time your right leg is up, we'll let our left hip drop out and push down, hug in. Good tool to hold onto a chair or a wall here. Hip shifts out and press down and hug in, stacking the joints. Hip shifts out slowly and press down and hug in, and hip shifts out a little and press down and hug in. All right, switch feet. Pressing down through the right hip, bending the left knee, right hip shifts out, and pressing down and hugging in. Breathing here. If your toes are clenching, it means the thigh bone is drifting forward, so try to back the weight up into the heel a little bit more. All right, so we're gonna hold one side at a time, but feel free to lightly put your hand on the chair if you'd want to. Just lightly push down through the left hip, bend the right knee in. Try to keep the top of the pelvic list, pushing down and hugging in, and turn and look over your right shoulder, and turn and look over your left shoulder. Bring your head back, check hips over heels, right ear to right shoulder, and left ear to left shoulder. I did the opposite there, but that's okay. And bring your head back up and switch feet. And we're doing the pelvic list, the pushing down and the hugging in the whole time. And from here, turn and look over your right shoulder, hips over heels. Turn and look over your left shoulder, ribs relax down and back. Come back to center, check the lift of that, the pressing down of that hip, right ear over to right shoulder, and left ear over to left shoulder. And then bring your head back up and release your foot down. Okay, from here, let's put your right foot forward, your left foot back a little, but we're gonna turn our feet slightly out to the side. If your hips are twisted one way, square them to the back of the chair and fold forward here. and come up slightly, and now try to turn both your front foot and your back foot slightly in, turning your hips to face the chair, and fold forward a little bit there. And then spin the outer edges of your feet to straight and folding forward there. And then switch feet, left foot forward, right foot back, feet slightly turn out to the sides, square the hips to the chair as you fold forward. And then slightly turn your toes in with left foot forward, right foot back. Try to notice if your hips twist, try to turn them back to straight and fold forward. It's really easiest to tell in a mirror. So just do the best that you can. Both straight leg and front leg, back leg and front leg straight. And then spin the outer edges of your feet to straight and folding forward there. All right, push off that back foot to come up with feet straight, ankles hip distance. Sit back into a chair squat. Press up, walk your feet a step wider. Sit back, press up, and a step wider. And sit back, press up, another step wider, and sit back and press up. So my floor is slippery, so I'm gonna take these socks off, but your feet are nice and wide at this point, and you're backing your hips up. And how about you're like as wide as you usually go, just trying to wiggle your feet a little wider without force. Back your hips up and shift your hips slowly right to left. And it's okay if there's not much movement. If there is movement, go nice and slow. And maybe you decide you can walk them even a tiny bit wider. And then from there, heel toe your feet in. Face sideways to your chair like we did initially. Whichever foot is closest to the chair, turn it straight towards the chair. Try not to turn it too crooked. And then you're pushing down through that leg. So now, since your foot is facing this way, the side of your leg is here. Rather than when you're facing this way, the side of your leg is here. So you've turned your foot. So now it's this part of your leg that you need to press down and almost hug in, push forward. So as you bend over to the chair and you lift your other leg, you're pushing the back of the buttocks here forward, or the side of the buttocks here forward, and pressing down through that leg as you lift the other leg. And back your weight up into your heel, and maybe lift your top arm into the air, and then bring your hand and foot down. So because you turn around or switch sides of your chair, because you change the rotation of your leg, the side of your leg is on a different place. And we're practicing the same thing of pressing down and hugging in, but because our foot's in a different place, our hugging in is actually kind of pushing this part of our hip and the back of our hip forward. So foot straight, lean into that leg. Push down, lift your back leg, and buttocks pushes forward a little as you reach down through that outer hip. Reach long through your top leg, hips back onto the weight in the heel, and lift the arm maybe into the air, breathing here. And lower the foot and the hand, and then face the back of your chair and walk back. Actually, let's walk up, sit back into a chair pose and cross your right ankle over your left knee as your hips push back and that right thigh relaxes open any amount. And then we'll switch sides. Okay, I talked earlier in class about how if it bothers you to have your weight on your hands, that you want to do a lot more hand stretches. And we did quite a few throughout this class, but you have to do them consistently, sometimes before putting a load on your hands. If it bothers your wrists, you can skip this, but otherwise, face the seat of your chair. You can turn it around, or at your home, you can just walk around to the other side. And then from here, put your hands on the chair with your thumbs spreading out and your elbow pits wrapping forward. If you feel like your spine is rounded here because it's a low reach, can you put your hands up on something so it's a little bit higher? And then from here, with our elbow pits wrapping forward, our front ribs lifting up, if they tend to drop down to the floor, we're just gonna bend our elbows straight back towards our legs and watch. Sometimes on the way down, sometimes on the way up, sometimes both. They like to pop out to the side. So you can keep them hugging in as you go up and down. And just remember, it's okay to skip stuff like this until you get to a place where you can comfortably load your hands and your wrists without them bothering you. But you do want to get to a place where eventually you can hold some weight on your hands because it's good for your bone density. And in the next week or two, we're going to talk a lot more about bone density throughout class. Press equally through the palms of the hands. Keep those elbows pointing straight back on the way down and the way up. And then pause, breathing, and back your hips up and come on up to stand and have a seat in your chair, but you might want to grab your ball first. Pay attention to the position of your feet and your ankles as you sit back, and then putting the ball under the ball of your right foot. We're just going to roll it around any way for about 30 seconds. So not a lot of ball rolling today, but a little bit of something done more consistently goes a long way. All right, let's switch feet and roll the ball any way, side to side, forward and back, circles. Try to hit all different areas. One day you could just stay on the outer edges of your feet, and then the next day you could just roll the inner arches of your feet. All right, so you're going to extend your right leg long, try to keep your ankle flexed, and just curl your toes forward and pull your toes back without your ankle moving forward or back. Toes curl forward, toes pull back, toes curl forward, toes pull back, toes curl forward, toes pull back. Switch. Extend your opposite leg, keeping the flexion of your ankle, toes curl forward. If you get any cramping, just wiggle your foot out, toes pull back, toes curl forward and back, toes curl forward and back, and toes curl forward and back. Okay, you can sit back into your chair a little bit, slide your hips back, and then you can lift up your right leg. How about try to keep your toes curled under and circle your ankle with toes curled under. And then pause and circle in the other direction, keeping the toes curled. And then how about take your toes in the opposite direction, try to keep them up and circle your ankle there. A couple in each direction. And then we'll switch. Pick up your other leg, toes curl under, circle your ankle with toes curled under, a couple times in each direction. And then flip your toes up and try to do the same thing with toes up, a couple times in each direction. All right, let's go back to your first foot. Curl your toes under. Can you point and flex your ankle, keeping your toes curled down? How about lifting your toes up and pointing and flexing your ankle while pulling your toes back towards you? Definitely a little more challenging for me for that one. All right, switch feet. Toes curl under, point and flex. Toes flip up and point and flex. Oh, look at that, much easier on one side for me than the other. All right, how about go back to your other leg one more time. Toes curl under, twist your ankle a little side to side. Your leg stays pretty steady, just the ankle twisting. And then flip your toes up or back and twist your ankle side to side there. All right, switch. Toes curl under, ankle twist a little side to side, and flip your toes back and ankle twist a little side to side. All right, and then extend both legs long and fold over your legs any amount. Feeling your breath here. And then sit all the way back in your chair for your final pose, Savasana. Scoot your hips back, let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. Become very present with your body and with your breath. Scanning your body, feeling your body. This is by a writer named Caroline Myss. We are not meant to stay wounded. We are supposed to move through our tragedies and challenges and to help each other move through the many painful episodes that may happen in life. By remaining stuck in the power of our wounds, we block our own transformation. We overlook the greater gifts inherent in our wounds, the strength to overcome them, and the lessons that we are meant to receive through them. Wounds are the means through which we enter the hearts of other people. They are meant to teach us to become compassionate and wise. Bringing our hands together at heart center. Thank you for moving with me so that we are helping each other to keep things flowing in our bodies with a little bit more ease. In gratitude for this day, namaste.